Donnie Nietes versus Aston Palicte fight. Anak ng teteng walang nanalo. No Filipino won the fight. And before I officially start, I just wanted to give a big shout out to J.O. Otamias, ang photographer ng bayan. Thank you very much for the photos. I'm using it on this podcast. And if you see another photo of Aston Palicte and Donnie Nietes, that's probably J.O. That's probably the photo of J.O. Thank you very much. Days have passed and I still read comments on social media about how terrible the decision was over the fight of our very own two Filipino boxers, Donnie Ahas Nietes and Aston Mighty Palicte. So okay, my name is Pao Salute and come and join me in another edition of the Paocast Sports Podcast where I chime in on the recent Pinoy versus Pinoy boxing match that made Pinoy boxing enthusiasts and analysts cringe. Yes, cringe, that's the right word. Before this fight started, I have spoken to a few boxing fans and people who really know boxing, and even had a chance to talk to people close to the fighters themselves and ask them who they think would win. And most of them would have a modest prediction that, even though it's obvious that they're on the other side, they would always say that both fighters are great, and both camps has been really modest about each other and they respected each other. The common answer, however, that I get from almost everyone that I ask was, no matter what happened, a Filipino would win the next World Boxing Organization Super flyweight belt. Up until after the fight, when winner was announced, and surprising to many, the scorecard was read and it was an anticlimactic draw. Judge Robert Hoyle scored 116-112 for Palicte. Daniel Sandoval scored 118-110 for Nietes, and Max De Luca scored it at 114-114 draw. So I'm not here to talk about why the three judges scored the fight differently. They saw the fight differently. But I'm here to talk about no Pinoy is bringing home the championship belt that night. It was a freaking split draw. No Pinoy is celebrating tonight as the vacant belt will continue to be vacant. Now, I'm not here to dispute the scoring. I'm not even surprised that this happened. If it can happen to the biggest name, it can happen to anyone. Remember Pacquiao? Remember Pacquiao fight? Anyway, while majority were inclined and convinced that the older and the three-division champion Donnie Nietes won the fight because his punch stats were better, he has better control of the fight, the other camp will have their own arguments. And while everyone has their own point of view, may it be valid or not, the decision of the judges are final. And even though we don't agree with it all the time, or not all the time, most of the time, it will stay. They are professional judge for a reason. And one respected and professional judge told me that people, fans, and analysts can criticize all they want about the decision, but when they are seated and they're scoring the fight, they ensure that they do it the right way with the highest integrity based on what they see, based on their vantage point in the ring. True enough, they actually, I think, have the best seat in the house, and obviously they should have no bias. Well, at least it should be like that. Now, the criticized decision of the Nietes and Palicte fight will be remembered as it could have made history if either two of the boxer wins the fight. If Nietes wins, his name will be beside Manny Pacquiao, no need to deny it, as the boxer who have won 4 world titles. For Aston Palicte, he could have given Donnie Nietes his first loss since 2004. Instead, Nietes collected his 5th draw and Aston his first draw in his record. Donnie Nietes at 36 is not getting any younger. Now, every fight is valuable. Every opportunity to make history is critical because as time goes by, and while his skills and boxing IQ continues to grow, his body may do otherwise. You know, aside from another boxer in front of you, time and age is the biggest opponent of a fighter. For young Palicte at 27, he still got the world in front of him. One thing he may not have again is the opportunity to fight Donnie Nietes. At this point, and we are just speculating, Donnie Nietes and his team should be carefully planning his fights. One that could further increase his standing in boxing, you know, without having big risk. At the same time, and most importantly, one that can ensure that Donnie Nietes can retire with enough money on his pockets. A rematch between the two fighters? Yes, I like to see that. And I'm sure boxing fans like to see that as well. And it looks more and more that Filipino fans have been clamoring to see more and more Pinoy versus Pinoy fight against each other. This one is no different. And while a lot of Filipino can argue that it's not good for Filipino boxing fans or Filipino boxing because we tend to eliminate each other, I feel the other way. I see this as an opportunity for boxer, whether Filipino or not, to prove that they are better. We can all turn our blind eye, but there are a lot of boxers, not just Filipino, that has good record, but when faced with a top opponent abroad, they crumble to the ground. Now, if a Pinoy versus Pinoy match, again, Pinoy versus good Pinoy fighter match is demanded, is needed to prove their readiness, so be it. Now, if the fans wants to see it, then let's make it happen. But unfortunately, this type of things don't really happen very often. You know, unless it's a dream. You know, we have a dream fights. Anyway, for me, the fight between Nietes and Palicte is a letdown, not because of the two fighters, but because no one won the fight. At the same time, however, at least boxers, Palicte and Nietes has proven to themselves that, and the fans, that they were prepared against each other. They have given their best inside the ring. However, their best isn't good enough, at least according to the judges. At least some of the judges. This reminded me the old saying that if you truly want to win and don't want to disappoint yourself and the fans, don't let the judges decide who will win the fight. Aston Palicte and Donnie Nietes, I would like to congratulate both of you, really, but you know what? The draw actually means that both of you lost us because none of you is taking home that belt, unfortunately. Now, I can only hope that both of you get a chance to get inside that ring once again to dispute that coveted title. Anyway, for those of the people that are listening, what do you think about the fight? Who do you think should have won? And do you want to see them in a rematch? My name is Pao Salud from PowcastSports.com, and thank you for listening to my podcast. Don't forget to like, share, and of course comments. I'll personally reply to some of the comments. Thank you very much for listening. Goodbye.